president has the power to nominate someone for a federal judge. However, they have to be approved by the Senate. The president also has the power to veto a law, but the legislative branch can override a veto if they get 3/4 of the House to agree. The president also has the power to shorten terms for the convicts, whether it be a few weeks off of their term or a couple months. It just depends on the situation. If we go back over to the legislative branch, Congress has the ability to impeach or remove the president if they choose. And if we go over here to the judicial branch, they have the ability to declare any acts that the executive branch makes as unconstitutional, and they also are free from executive power. I think I got everything.
They wanted a stronger national government in the ratification of the Constitution to help manage debt and tensions properly after the American Revolution. The Constitution gives 3 types of power to the national government. There's the delegated, which gives the power to coin money, regulate commerce, declare war, to raise and maintain armed forces, and to establish a post office. The implied powers gives Congress the right to make all laws which shall be necessary and proper for carrying into execution the foregoing powers and other powers vested in the government of the United States. The inherent powers, not listed but grow the longer the national government exists. Then there's reserved powers, which is for the states and is guaranteed by the 10th Amendment.
The President is the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, which means that the President has the power to call in state units of the National Guard, and they can also manage national security or the economy. However, they can only do that in extreme cases and if it's approved by Congress. For example, of them being able to call state units of the National Guard, during both the Vietnam and Iraq wars, units of the National Guard were called in to fight during the war. Then another executive power that they have is they can create treaties with the approval of the Senate and can receive ambassadors and work with leaders of nations. Now, an example of a president working with another nation was actually Ronald Reagan when he helped peacefully end the Cold War with the Soviet Union. And also, by the most well-known executive power, the president can also issue executive orders which have the force of law but don't need approval from Congress. There have been many different kinds of executive orders, such as way back in 1861 when Abraham Lincoln was president, on the 2nd of December, when Lincoln authorized General H.W. Halleck to suspend the writ of habeas corpus, to as recent as Barack Obama's executive order on the 13th of October 2016, which was simply just charitable fundraising. There have been these are some of the examples of executive power the president has access to, and the only time they can't use this power is if Congress vetoes a bill that they try and pass.
Typically, presidents would only serve 2 terms, as it was kind of a tradition made by George Washington. However, Franklin Roosevelt broke the tradition and was president for 4 terms. Abraham Lincoln's foreign policies kept other countries from being involved in the Civil War, and also issued the Emancipation Proclamation, which started the process to end slavery. FDR led the U.S. during World War II and helped America to not be in the Great Depression. He also created the New Deal. He helped the U.S. solve the Depression on their own, unlike Herbert Hoover, who wanted other countries to help because he believed they were to blame for the Depression. Andrew Jackson's legacy was the national 2-party system. During his 8 years as president, he went through 4 secretaries of state and 5 secretaries of the Treasury. He also dominated his cabinet by forcing out members who would not execute his commands. Jackson also paid off all the national debt, which was the first and only time in U.S. history when the government did not have any national debt. the U.S. was debt-free for a year. As you heard from the examples, presidents can have a lot of power, especially in Andrew Jackson's case. This can be good or bad. Though presidents have this power, they don't always exercise it. For example, Millard Fillmore, who was the 13th president replacing Zachary Taylor, didn't do much to ease the tension between abolitionists and slaveholders. Sometimes presidents can't exercise their power because their term is cut short. With William Harrison, he had gotten pneumonia and died after being president for 1 month and 6 days. In James Garfield's case, he is assassinated 6 months after his inauguration.